Films. The film choice, obviously, for you, someone who is in filmmaking. So Three Colors Blue. I thought it's going to be something very out there, and it's French. And do they have English kind of version of it?
Well, it's by Krzysztof Kieślowski, the director, who's Polish, and the film is in the French language,
Right.
but he's a Polish director, so it's Polish-French, let's say. It's part of the Three Colors trilogy, from the 90s, about it's three different films, but representing the three colors of the French flag, and liberté, égalité, fraternité, which are the three concepts behind it. And the blue one is just, I don't know. I obviously I like lots of films, and when you asked me about films, I was like, it's difficult to choose. But I often mention this Three Colors Blue one just because it's slightly different to like everything we're used to seeing. Like there's some techniques in there that just, there's some things in there that you don't normally see, like. The film is about a woman played by Juliette Binoche.
Yeah.
Who
I was wondering how to pronounce her last name. Binoche, thank you.
And she loses her husband and her entire family to a car accident. She's the only one left alive, and her husband was a composer who was making the song for the unification of Europe, and he dies, and she's the only one that has the manuscript. And then what scene is this? Let's see.
Not really sure. I was thinking that it's gonna be the trailer, but no.
No, wait. Let's see if it's.
No, we're just sitting watching TV.
No, it's no, because there's a scene. Yeah, no, this is a scene I wanted to talk about actually. So. No, it's not. The scene after. No, it's basically it's established that she goes to this cafe and this like really nice passing time shop. Anyway, she goes to this cafe and she sees this busker dude, but then she goes back there and she hears him playing that music, which only she knows, and she goes out into the street and she's like, "Where did you hear? How do you know this music?" And he just says, like, "Oh, I just made it up. I come up with all sorts of ideas." And really the idea behind that is just that however unlikely it is, you could have the same combination of notes put together by two individuals who don't know each other with no connection. And it's just kind of just says something about the universe and coincidences. And I don't know, it's kind of the kind of metaphor that's not that used. It's not that common in Western cinema, like to make a statement like this. It's never explained how this guy knew. It's just he put together the same notes by chance. And it's just kind of like it's and then they have this technique where sometimes they just fade to black and then cut back into the scene. I don't know, there's some stuff in there which is very different to normal standard Western conventions. So that's kind of why I chose the film. But it's also, when certain things, when you're growing up and learning about your craft, there's certain things that stick just because of the mythology of them. And it just, Kieślowski was one of those directors that when I was getting into film, I read his books about filmmaking and watched his films and watched the behind the scenes. And this kind of like, I don't know, there's a certain mythology for me, like attached to them. So it's like that personal connection as well. So like, I think it's obviously really hard to choose what movies I like, but I think that's one I keep coming back to, Three Colors Blue.
Well, this, I didn't see the film. Next time I need to upload films and stuff and get really ready for this. But obviously just didn't have enough time. I was busy working. But so Juliette Binoche, this actress, she did Chocolate. And that's one of my favorite films.
Well, yeah, she's very famous. She's one of the most famous French actresses of all time. But it's the cool story is that she turned down Jurassic Park to do like Three Colors Blue with Krzysztof Kieślowski. So that's it is a real like.
Oh wow!
She turned down one kind of cinema and went into another kind of cinema. Incredible. And obviously she's really huge now. So it's kind of like those. Well, yeah,
those Chocolate for me, that was one of the like really cool films, and the interaction with Judi Dench as well was really cool. And there's Johnny Depp as well, just so you know. And okay, we're gonna move to the fourth segment in a second because we've done 30 minutes again. There you go. And this is drum performance from Lorenzo. Come on, keep doing it. Booyaka, booyaka. Yes, so the films we were talking about were colors blue, and now the other film you were suggesting, United 93, so which is about 9/11.
Yeah, I forgot. It's about United Flight 93, which was the one that was meant to crash into the Capitol, but ultimately ended up in a field in Pennsylvania because it's the only one in which the hijackers managed to sort of control the plane and overwhelm the attackers, and then ultimately it crashed into a field. But I don't know. Yeah, I chose it because I don't know. It's just kind of a very very different to Three Colors Blue, and it's a film I keep returning to. I just love the way Barry Ackroyd, the cinematographer, and Paul Greengrass, the director, they kind of build the tension, and they use the handheld camera with these kind of crash zooms in a very Barry Ackroyd style. I don't know. It's just kind of very different and very. I don't know. I love the way it builds the tension and tells a story. I don't know why I chose it, to be honest. I think it just came to mind. I just love that kind of stuff. Barry Ackroyd's work, and I think this is a good example of it. You know?
In your own experience, have you caught yourself, or do you do that consciously, that you're trying to do something similar in the things what you've seen in other films?
Well, I think there's nothing's original, right? So everything that we do comes from somewhere, and you might as well try to figure out what it comes from, because if you're not, you're just pulling from your subconscious, and you're pulling from the things you've seen anyway. So it's like, it's different. It's difficult not to use, zoom lenses and not to think about
just because
Barry
someone else
Ackroyd.
already done that before. Yeah.
Well, you just think about, it doesn't mean you're copying that person, but it's just you're not. I'm not massively knowledgeable about films or film history, and I wish I was more, to be honest, but it's definitely like you may as well try to figure out what your references are, and then, because if not, if you might just be thinking you're doing something new, and then you're kind of reinventing the wheel. Roger Deakins talks about this as well on his like podcasts and stuff, and the interviews that he does, and it's just like sometimes people just don't know film history, and then they're just reinventing the wheel, and they don't realize something's been done in a really elegant way before. But I'm not that knowledgeable about films or film history. Like some directors I work with, they just keep telling me films, and I'm like, I haven't seen that. I'm definitely not a film buff in the proper sense of the word.
Well, that's similar with me. Like a lot of stunt guys would tell to me, "Have you seen this Jackie Chan film? That Bruce Lee film?" And they would say like, "Oh, this is the reason why I got into stunts, because I like the action and everything." And I'm like, "No, I haven't seen it." And I don't know. And everyone can be influenced and have different reasons why they get in certain things. It's like they have different visions, and